not 43. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, we're being live streamed now, so. Yeah, I mean, if I show you, I don't know, can I show the whole screen?
Yeah, if you click at the top, there's a, I don't know what the button looks like.
Stop sharing.
You can switch.
And then go start swearing.
It should let you take the whole screen.
But I've got individual screens. Oh, desktop. Is that it?
Yeah, that should give you the whole desktop. All right, let me just open this up for those joining us on YouTube. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. My name's Ian, KO4EFS, and I understand my audio is probably not going to be perfect tonight. I have no less than 3 or 4 mics plugged into this computer, but only one's popping up. I'm hearing a radio or something. I will tell you guys that, like always, I completely blame Bill Gates. He makes enough money that he can take it. All right, so there we go. Windows 10, the best piece of crap you can get. Okay, let's see here. 11. Yeah, so tonight we've got a great night. We're going to do several things tonight. We've got I've got a member of the WatchNet here that's asked me if I can get him some help on his FT8, and so we are going to be doing that tonight. So I want you guys to hang around for that. After the first segment's going to be fairly quick. We're just going to run through some different things you can do in the shack to beat some RF that you're having. And then we're going to go and we're going to troubleshoot a unit for one of our members and see if we can get it going here. And let's see here. I'm trying to find it. Trying to find the email. But anyway, I will get that. Man, I hate trying to do 2 things at once. Anyway, let's go ahead and I will find that here in just a minute. So let's go back to that in just a minute. In the meantime, for right now, on the first part of the TechNet, we're going to do a couple of announcements here, and then we're going to go right into something that I'm going to talk about today is Ferrite traps. And I've got a whole box of them here I just bought for $20. And I'm hoping this fixes a lot of my problems here in the shack. I've already got about 20 Ferrite traps already, Ferrite beads, whatever you want to call them, on a lot of my peripherals or on my computers and on my transmission lines. Now, it's not enough, so I got more. I got them in all different sizes, little ones, big ones, and so over the weekend, I'm going to take these 50 Ferrite traps that I got for 20 bucks. These have come down a lot, by the way. They used to be pretty expensive. But I'm going to be taking these, and we're going to discuss that here in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we are still working on last week's project, just to bring you guys up to speed, and I'll let Joseph kind of fill in all the details. But we did get that system working with one caveat. We found 2 issues, and once we resolved the 2 issues, it works fine. The first issue was you can't have the antenna next to the box. It has to be outside in a different room, somewhere away from the box. Number 2 is the white wire wasn't connected to the back of the board. It had somehow come disconnected. And so I'll let Joseph explain where we're at with it.
Yeah, so the Raspberry Pi needs 2 wires to control the radio. It needs push to talk, and it needs a wire called COS or COS. COS goes high whenever the Baofeng is receiving a signal. That wire broke off in transit, so the Pi was not ever acknowledging that the radio was receiving audio. So I was able to y'all were able to hear me okay, but I couldn't hear y'all, and we thought it was a PL tone issue, but it wasn't, or it might have had a PL tone issue as well, but the wire was disconnected, we found. So I can kind of use it by, if I remote into Ian's computer, I can open up the terminal, I can remote into the Pi, and then I can manually switch the Pi between transmit and receive mode. But until that wire gets repaired, it's stuck, so it's still not really usable by just anybody. It has to be manually controlled.
Yeah, and the good news is Joseph was able to dial into the computer here and get into the server and do what he had to do to manually turn the radio's receiver on and off, and then he was able to transmit on it using it. So hopefully in the next week or so, I believe Rick's going to try to solder that on for us over the weekend, or at least take a look at it. And we want to, once we get that wire soldered back on, then we'll have the Echolink / All-Star node hooked up on the WatchNet channel on the 775. So that's going to be really good, and that way everybody can participate on that, even if you're not in the local area. All right.
I watched the YouTube channel last night, Ian, this morning from last night's transmission. Mm-hmm. Did you find somebody to do the soldering?
Rick's going to take a look at it.
Okay, because if not, I can do it. I've actually got a portable soldering kit, run off gas. I could meet you somewhere halfway and do it if you want, but if not, if Rick's only around the corner from you, so if he can do it, that'd be good.
Well, and I appreciate it, and obviously Rick will be able to look at it and make a decision whether it's something he wants to do, and if not, I'll get it down to you.
All right.
Maybe going to Naples sometime over the next week anyway. So, and trust me, I rarely ever go to Naples. I don't know what's worse down there, the traffic or the taxes. All right, so anyway, all right, so that was that. So just to bring you guys up to speed, hopefully in the next week or two, we'll be giving you guys some all-star numbers and some node numbers and things, and WinLink or Echolink, and we'll get that going for you. Okay, does anybody have any announcements or anything they would like to bring up tonight while we're at the beginning here? Okay. All right, I want to thank Joseph and Rick, and there was, I think, one or two others. I appreciate everybody that came into the WatchNet last night. I think there was 4 or 5 of us, and it worked out good. Charles was in there too. Charles is a big supporter of the nets and also is net controller of several nets. Okay, so let's go right along to it. Basically, let me switch screens here. Let me get rid of this and get this going again. All right, there we go, and here we go. It's hard to produce and do everything yourself. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about eliminating shack RF. Now, I am very open and upfront with you guys when we start a new topic, okay? And I let you know where my level on this topic is. I'm being honest. On this particular topic, I'm a novice. I know hardly anything about it, and I'm hoping that you guys can help me with this tonight. I put together a very simple slideshow that just has the basics, and I welcome you guys to do the teaching because you probably know more about this than I do, okay? So, again, this is a group cooperative net tonight and not a lecture, okay? Because I don't think I could teach you guys anything on this topic, to be honest. It's not my topic. It's so anyway. Let's get into it. Tonight we're gonna learn the fundamentals of RFI, and I'll tell you what. If you're in a metal shack, I bought an actual shack. It's an actual 14 by 10 tool shed, and I insulated it and drywalled it and painted it and ran electricity and did all the normal things. The only thing I didn't put in that I wish I did was a urinal. But anyway, it works really well, and I love my shack, but it's got metal on the outside, and this thing is a Faraday cage in here. And I have all kinds of issues with RF inside the shack, and that's kind of what brought me into this topic tonight, was the issues I've been having, and I wanted to get you guys to help me out fix my issues in the shack, okay? So we're gonna talk about Ferrite filters and how to use and buy the right Ferrite filter. This is one of those ham radio topics where you can get into the math and you can go in and actually figure out exactly which Ferrite you need, how many you need, this and that and the other thing. We're not going into the math tonight. I would need to find someone to get into that. That's just too deep. If someone here would like to go as deep as they can, that's fine. I trust you guys to give us what information you can impart on us. We're going to talk about how to use ferrites to solve the #1 RFI problem shared by all hams using coax-fed HF antennas. And that's basically just the errant transmission running back up the line. We all know what happens, and these little jewels fix that. you guys already know we put a bunch of these out at the end of the antenna. I know on the hex beam, I think there's 8 of these on the hex beam. What do they call it? There's a name for it, but anyway.
A choke balance.
A choke balance. And there's 8 of these, I think 8 or 10 of these on there, and it works good on that end. But I don't have any on this end, so I think I'm going to put a few on this end too. But I've got all kinds of lines. I've got, I think, 12 antennas out there. 3 of them are HF. Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of RF in here, and it's getting a little bit of crazy. So we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff, and we're going to try to understand the concepts a little with no math. I can't get into the math tonight. The net tonight is for contesters, DXers, rag chewers, anybody that's a ham could use to lower the noise floor and lower the amount of errant RF in your shack. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So again, I ask you guys to participate because I don't have all the answers to this, and I need you guys to help me with it. All right, let's see here. The next thing, it can affect every aspect of the hobby. Not only is it a high noise floor, you can have high noise floor issues. You could have something outside the shack that's providing a specific amount of interference on a certain frequency. That's something different, and we can deal with that. You may also be having problems with your neighbors reporting that they're having issues. And you know what? It might be worth $5 worth of ferrite traps to get them to stop itching, if you know what I mean. Just go over to their house and say, look, I'm going to put these on the back of your TV and it'll quit. I will tell you something. New technology, and I read something today. The FCC is not really even dealing with, like if your neighbor calls the FCC because of your ham radio, they're not even really dealing with that anymore. Because the FCC now says, number one, they don't have enough people to deal with it. That's always the case. But number two, they're not dealing with it because all this new technology, my new camera system, the newer TVs that I've bought, all my newer stuff, even my new smartphones, they're unaffected by RF. I don't have any problems. It's always my older mouses, my older peripherals, my older computers, the older screens that I have, they're the ones having the problem. And what the FCC is saying right now, and what I read, was that because of all the emergence of new technology that is not affected by low band RF, they're literally just getting out of the business of policing it as far as your neighbors calling and things like that. But to save yourself some time and trouble, if your neighbor comes over and says, hey, I think sometimes when you're talking on the radio, my TV goes a little crazy. Offer $3 worth of ferrite traps and go stick them on the back of his TV. It might just solve the problem and he can have them. But that's the other thing. And then we talked about noise floor. We talked about your neighbors. And of course, the third kind that's really a problem is the RF being trapped inside the shack. That's the one that's affecting me the most. I haven't had any complaints from my neighbors. Now that I went to my digital camera system, it's no longer affected by HF at all. So I haven't had those problems. I got a high noise floor on 40, and I'm hoping to work on that too. But other than that, I don't have those first two problems that bad. My problem is all this shack RF in here. So I'm going to be putting 50 ferrite traps along with the 25 I already have. And I'm ferrite trapping everything. And I'm going to see if I can get this to quit doing this. On certain, like my signal link box right here, okay? I have to be very careful how I run these wires. They have to be run directly away from the feed lines for the radio, or if I go over 50 watts on certain bands, the signal link drops out and it drops the transmitter, and that's it. I'm done. My QSO's over. And they have to wait for the cycle to go again. So basically the best thing to do is, again, ferrite traps. Now, I'm going to open this up. Is there someone who has dealt with this that would like to talk on it?
I can give you a few pointers.
Please do.
All right, number one, you've got to change the way you're thinking.
Okay.
Because you just said that you've got 8 antennas. Well, that's wrong. You've got one antenna with 8 access points.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So if you so change your mind of thinking on that. RFI and noise floor are two completely different things. If you eliminate RFI, you're not going to eliminate your noise floor problem. That's something different. It can be, your noise floor can be RF generated by something else, but you're looking to eliminate RFI generated by your own HF, as far as I can tell at the moment. And the other thing is, did you ground your shack? And have you got, 8-foot grounding poles, rods, 2 or 3 of them around your shack or something like that, and then grounded your shack, and then ground everything to that single point and ground your antennas coming into the shack at that point?
Yes.
That's probably the most important thing I can think of for getting.
Yeah, me too.
It is. And I have got my shack, the shell of my shack, as well as all of my rigs that have grounds on them, and my tuner are all grounded, but they're grounded to FP&L's ground rod. I have a ground rod, but I don't have it in the ground yet. So I'm getting there.
Okay, yes. So you want to, so really I would put 3, you said 10 by 14 or something?
Yeah.
I would put at least 3 ground rods around your shack. Put one really close to where you're bringing in all the antennas.
Right.
And I would then ground those to, if they're no more than 15 feet away, ground them to the electrical ground for your house. You see, there's a subtle difference here. It's between, if your shack is really close to the house, then it counts as the house. But if it's separate from the house, as far as code goes, if you've got your shack inside your house and you put grounds in for your antennas in your house, that ground must be grounded to the electricity ground, your electrical company's ground. Yeah, the supplier's ground. But if your shack is, separate from the house, and it's kind of undefined, I don't know what separate means, 10 feet, 20 feet, 15 feet, I don't know. But if it's a little way away from your house, then you don't have to ground it to, in your case, I think you said FP&L or whatever it is. So I would do those before you do any ferrite traps or ferrite beads or something like that, because that's probably going to eliminate most of your problems. And the word elimination, as far as RFI is concerned, doesn't exist unless you've got, your coax are perfect length, your antennas are a perfect 50 ohms, 75 ohms, 300 ohms, 200 ohms, whatever you're working at for your feed line. You're not going to eliminate it. You're just going to eliminate it from that particular device, but it's still going to, there's no way of, if you've got it inside your shack, there really is no way of eliminating it from inside your shack. You can eliminate it from getting into the equipment in your shack, but you say your shack's a Faraday cage, so in theory it shouldn't be getting in through a Faraday cage.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's not that it's getting in. I think it's leaking from within here, and it's in here with me.
So you're generating it internally, you think?
I think so, probably because maybe the coax isn't the best or whatever. But I have my most issues with the way the wires are all behind the radio. Like I said, right now, all my USB peripherals have to be routed directly away from all of my feed lines coming in, because those two together seem to be a real problem. Which is,
well, that makes sense, because what's a piece of wire?
Antenna.
Yeah.
An antenna.
Yeah.
So any piece of wire you've got out there is an antenna, and it's gonna receive signals. So if you haven't got a perfectly balanced antenna system and you've got signal coming back down the screen of your coax, there's nothing to stop that getting into other cables. And you're going to get it into the cable. You can trap it, but it's still going to be into the cable. So, if I would work on the ground first of all, that would be most important, and make sure that all your antennas are grounded at the point in which they enter your shack. And that probably will eliminate 90% of your problems.
Yep. Common point, ground plane. That's real important.
Really important.
That's what everybody's telling me too. You got to have like one of the setups I saw that looked like it was really good was they put a metal box in the wall, and they had a conduit going through the wall, or multiple conduits actually, and that box was metal, and then they had his lightning surge protectors, but that was also grounding the coax, the shield of the coax. All that was connected together at one place, and there was a ground rod right outside. I think there was.
What I've got going here.
Yeah.
So it was all like right there. There's one box. Everything came in through one location. It was all grounded together. And that would probably help with some interference too, because you have everything at a single point. You don't have stuff crossing over each other and feeding into each other and stuff like that.
This is
grounding and bonding.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is a really, 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 really good read. It goes from very simple to extremely complicated, but it gives you an insight. But just don't think of you've got, so if you've got a couple of HF antennas and they're going to two different radios, as soon as, you've got to assume that's the same antenna with just two entrance points. And if you do that and you get your head wrapped around that, you can kind of approach the idea of eliminating RFI with a better, at least I did anyway, with a better approach to it. I mean, my problem here, which is, different than most, I know my antennas are all in the attic, although I have got 15-foot ceilings, the antennas are not an awful way up. That's it. That's perfect.
Yep.
That's the way.
There you go.
You see that whole copper shield at the back? The back of that box, all of it is copper.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all grounded together.
All ground together.
And what are
Those
these?
may or may not be lightning surge protectors.
I was
Those
just gonna
lightning
say,
things
these
too.
are polyphasers, I think.
Yeah, they're polysavers. They're lightning. And if
Yeah.
you look in the bottom right-hand corner, coming out of the box, that is that weave there. That is going to the grounding rod, and that rod will be 8 foot long and pounded right into the ground. There'd be 2 or 3 inches above it. And then the ground coming from the stem in the top left-hand corner, you've got more. That's going into the shack, and there will be a bus bar in the shack that is a grounding rod. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Let me just show you if I can do this.
Yeah, my problem's not the complication or the work that's involved, it's the money that's involved. This stuff's expensive.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to go to those extremes.
No, I know this is pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty.
No, I mean, I think I can log on. If I log on with my phone and I can use my phone, I can show you what I've done. And it is really, and it was really effective. But basically, I went to Home Depot, and if you go to the electrical department where you've got all the electrical boxes, the breaker boxes and stuff, they sell a strip with screws in the top, like a grounding rod.
Yeah, the grounding block.
That you put, not a rod, it's a distribution block.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I use. And I use, this grounding. I use this stuff, if you can see it, just regular green 14 gauge from Home Depot,
12 gauge wire.
and take it from every single unit that I've got and put it into thing. If I got Zoom on here, I can show you a picture of mine. It really isn't expensive.
Now, what's the advantage of using that like grounding strap stuff instead of just like big electrical wire? Is there any advantage to using that?
Some people say there is, and some people say there isn't. If you've got, don't forget, we're dealing with, as soon as you get any piece of wire a quarter wave away from the ground, effectively it's open circuit. So, it's an antenna again. It's a quarter wave, vertical, horizontal, whatever. So by doing that, the weave, some people say it eliminates some of the, I'm trying to get my lighting back, it eliminates some of the cross the antenna not being ground, if you like, the wire becoming an antenna.
Okay.
A quarter wave across. Yeah, these polyphasers, I don't know. I've never used them. I mean, they seem to be an awful lot of money to me. And these little bronze transition clamps, I've got one here. Look, you can get these.
You can get those at the Home Depot.
Yeah, look, this is. I don't know if you can see this. Oh no, someone's sharing the screens, but
That looks like an 8.
I'll show you what I bought. I bought these. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I got to put it in front of me.
Yeah, those are the 8.
And then it's got the screw in the bottom. This screws in and out, and this goes over the pole, and then you put your wire in there. I haven't got great lighting in here, but
It goes over the grounding rod.
yeah. And these things are, I don't know, they're really not expensive. Can't remember how much they are. I buy these at like you'll get these.
Home Depot's has them.
Yeah, but you can get these used. It doesn't matter if they're used; they're just going outside on the pole from the, the Saturday Hamfest thing that we have.
Yeah, they may have those.
The swap shop.
Yeah.
I bought a few at the swap shop. I think I bought 5 for $5.
Poly
They're all
phasers?
different sizes.
Oh, those things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen those there. Yeah, they got that kind of stuff. My concern when I went looking for all this stuff a while back, because I wanted to do this before lightning season this year, and and I can't afford it. I mean, these things are expensive. Now, you guys tell me, when you look at this right here, is this an option for me? I mean, this looks pretty cheap.
Lightning arrestor and female to male. Well, this is an N connector, but
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to use adapters, but I can probably get it with the right connectors.
oh
Yeah,
look,
there's
that's
one.
N2.
That's huge, yeah. Okay.
That's the right one, and it's a surface mount.
I don't think they are. I think they're in line. I don't think you mount them to anything. So
Well,
basically, you here.
It says bulkhead. That usually.
Yeah, but that
and
goes
there's a-
through the bulkhead there, so you'd have to put
Right.
it through.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Yeah.
to have something you can drill 5/8 inch hole in to support that.
Yeah,
That's pretty much, it looks like the same thing. It would do the same thing as a polyphaser. It's just in a different form. However, this brand or whatever, it's a lot cheaper than a polyphaser. I don't know if they're using cheaper, whatever.
I have no idea.
So it looks like it has reviews, but the only real way to test it is to have somebody get struck by lightning and then write a review. So
and the thing is that lightning is going to go through most stuff anyway. So I don't know. I don't use those, but most of my stuff is inside. But again, this is only going to be as good as the grounding you got.
Right.
So
well, I
until
mean,
you put the grounding right into your shack, these things are going to be useless. Because that center connection up there has got to go to a good ground.
right.
If you just put it in line with your coax,
It won't do anything.
it won't do anything.
Right, because there's nowhere. It has to provide a route.
yeah.
And really, you need to I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you put a decent ground into your shack. You put that, if you've got the post, hammer it into the ground, put a good connection to it, ground the shack, ground make something that grounds all your coaxes together. It doesn't really matter what it can do. I mean, you can buy a box full of, I bought some crimps off of Amazon, and it wasn't expensive, and I bought like 200 of them that go onto that clip onto the bottom of a regular 239 socket, SO239 socket. I'm trying to look. Where's my Amazon?
This is what I've got here.
Yeah, that's that a bolt-on one? I've seen those. Yeah, those are quite
This is
good.
called the bulkhead. It's just like that one. It attaches to the I've got a bracket out there with 10 5/8 inch holes. Well, I've got another one, which is smaller, which I can show you. I'll go get it. To give you an idea what they look like. I got mine from Georgia Copper, so I'll show it to you. I'll go get it.
Well, and while he's getting that, I'll tell you, I wanted to do all this. I priced all this out. Now, I didn't see these cheaper polyphasers. They're not polyphasers. These gas lightning arresters. I would be happy with those because I can't afford a $120 polyphaser for every antenna. And I really only need 6 antennas, 7 antennas up all the time anyway. I could probably bring that. See, I've got 3 antennas that come into my 3 scanners, my 3 radios for the Broadcastify feed. Then I got 3 HF antennas. I got 6 meter, 10 through 20, and 40 and 80. So I got 3 different antennas there. And then I got 2 Ringos for 2 meter, 440. And then I got another 2 meter directional. Man, I got a lot of antennas. And then I got the one we just put on his box in here. So
just because you disconnect one of those, that doesn't mean that it's not going to receive the signal that you're sending out on one of the others and bring it back into your shack that way.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You've really got one antenna with sounds like 9 or 10 different connections. As far as RF's concerned, it's you know, a small nightmare.
Yeah, and I'm not on a big lot. All my antennas are within 100 feet of each other. I mean,
yeah, but then and in addition to that,
separation as I can get.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you've got down spikes, you've got gutters, you've probably got metal doors, you've probably got a metal fence somewhere, you've got vehicles, you know, you've got a garage door, which is probably aluminum. You know, you've got a ton of stuff, and they're all antennas effectively. So, you know, you've got to look at it all and say, oh, that's one antenna, and I've just got all these different connections on it at different wavelengths to match it to the transmitter and the frequency I'm using. And if you look at it that way, then that'll help with you. You know, just don't put the coax, don't put a trap or a balun trap or whatever on one device. What I will show you though, this is what I've done with my headphones with quite a little bit of playing around.
Yep.
And that eliminated it from my headphones from, this was for HF, this is for 6 meters. So that the HF one, if these are the cheap Amazon ones, they're about $9 for 10. I think it's $20 for 20 or something. All different sizes. The other thing is that all ferrite beads are not equal. So this one goes up to 60 or 70 megs. This one only goes up to 30. So, you know, read the spec.
Right.
You have to dig a little bit deep on Amazon if you bought them from Amazon, but they're good. You know, they come in a little box like this. I don't know if I can't see myself, so I can't. I'm still working away on 6 meters. I got a ton of contacts tonight, but yeah, I've just got these few left. You know, they just clamp on. I bought 3 boxes. And then I'll give you an example. See if I can find myself on here. Yeah.
And while you're doing that, let me just say, guys, bear with us. We're going to be helping Dave, another different Dave. We're going to be helping him get his FT8 going here in just a minute. So don't go anywhere. Oh, look at that.
When things get serious.
Great.
Wow.
And actually you can test this on your Nano VNA or on your SWR meter and whatever, just by putting a dummy load on it. This goes up to just about 60 megs. And it's, if I can put it somewhere you can see it, there you go. So this is my kind of main feed on the switches. So this is my first elimination into the shack, if you like. So this doesn't go onto any rig. This goes before, because I've got one of those Ameritron switches up in the attic, and this is the feed from that. Rick was showing us something briefly. I saw it, which looked perfect. I don't know where he is. So you don't need to, I mean, I can't stress enough how much you need to, Rick, what were you showing us just now? Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, this is the
This is
thing that this came from a company up in Georgia called Georgia Copper. They're up in Cleveland, Georgia. Now this is the what I call the 6-holer. I've got a 10-holer outside. All right, you can see these SO239 feed throughs, and this is what I used over at the apartment next door. I put a bigger one in here so I had more room, and I may wind up putting this one back out there too as I keep growing up and getting enough room. But you can put arresters in here too, such as this. It will fit it. This is an Alpha Delta unit, but I went with, you do a lot, but you do fine for yourself if you just do this. You put these feed throughs in this thing, and you run all, the idea of this is you run all your cables that are going into the shack through this thing. And this is all grounded together. So you get this is what we mean by common point ground plane. Everything goes through this, All of your shields are grounded together, and they go to the ground, which of course, like you were describing a while ago, several ground rods all tied to the utility ground. If you have a telephone line, you tie that in. If you got a cable TV line, you tie that in. All that stuff has to be tied together in the bonding ground. So,
okay, and one quick question now. Would I also run a large gauge piece of wire in from that panel there to come into the back of my radios and my tuner?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. I don't know that that's necessary. I don't leave my radios connected during storms. In fact, the rule I use here is when I'm not using the rig, it's disconnected from the antenna. Yeah, but from mid-May on through October.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rick, is that if you don't take a ground from that in, you're grounding all your radios through the coax. So all the radios are getting grounded, but sometimes
the coax hit that. See, I've got another thing. Let me show you the other thingy I've got set up here.
Yeah, well, this is in answer to Ian's question. Yes, I think you should bring another grounding wire into your shack and have a grounding post in your shack, because a lot of radios, sometimes the ground on the coax is not actually ground of the rig.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But certainly with tuners it is, but not with a lot of rigs. But then there's all the other stuff you need to ground, like power supplies, like microphone amplifiers, like mixers, like I've got here, like amplifiers for your speakers, like the switches. There's a bunch of stuff. But you really want, like Rick says, common point.
Got here, I'm going to give you a little tour. I've got jalousie windows here. So what I did was I replaced one of those glass jalousie windows with this aluminum plate. And what that does, let me see if I can get this camera to where you can see that. It's all the wiring is all, and of course we're going to have to knock a half a dozen things over to get it where we can move it. All right, let's see if we can get the camera over there. Turn on some lights so we can see what the heck is going on here. Do y'all see that?
Wow.
Okay. You can see that this replaces a 30-some foot inch jalousie window. And can you see it at all? I can't tell what's going on.
Go down just a little bit.
Go down.
Yeah, well, you need to go down because all.
That's it. That's it. Perfect.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So you got end connectors and SO239s.
Yeah. So you see two end connectors. One of them's covered with an adapter. Okay. On the end over there is a wing nut. That wing nut is for just exactly what you were talking about, is to feed a ground through. And I've got the other side of that grounded. So I've actually got two common point ground planes because that's grounded to the other one. So there's a number 6 piece of wire, which is used to connect that to the other panel outside. What have I knocked down now? I got too much clutter here. But anyway, and Ian, if you come over, I'll show this to you, and you get to see it and get to see it live instead of on this on the screen here. But that'll give you an idea. I've actually got a double system here, and then that wing nut I'm going to tie into and run in here, and we'll get everything grounded up for that. Of course, that's the ground that goes outside to the all of the tied into the utility line and everything. So it's this is a work in progress. It's still going on. I wanted to get this because I don't have a way to show you the other one. So this is the old one, but I may wind up using it too.
All right. Let's go around again. Is there anybody else that has anything else on grounding that they'd like to impart with us?
Well, I gotta say, this is all very, very nice to have this discussion, because I'm in the process right now of properly grounding everything, getting everything set up, because up until before, I never really had anything that was that high up and really was that big of a concern. But now I'm starting to get into the more taller tower, you know, with the GP9 on top. It's like, it's about, is it 50 feet? I believe it's about 50 feet tall now total. So the lightning is a concern, and static, and just all kind of things. I'm starting to try and get a proper setup going here. So it's been very nice having this discussion.
It's almost as bad as it is here in Florida.
Lightning?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I've been trying to figure out, right? So the push-up pole is 30 feet tall when it's fully extended. It's 30 feet. And then on top of that, it goes up another 20 feet or 18 and a half feet with the GP9. My thing I've been trying to decide the last couple of days is, if I see a storm coming that may potentially have lightning, is it worth it to lower the antenna down by 20 feet if it's still a total height of 30 feet? Now, before, when I had the GP1, it made more sense because the total height of the antenna was reduced to about 16 feet. Now with the GP9, it's the same height as the tower was before when it was raised up. Now when it's lowered, it's the same height as when it was raised up before. So it's kind of like, well, why bother even going out there and struggling with this push-up pole while standing on a ladder if it's not going to make any difference? And I've been trying to figure out if your chances of getting struck by lightning go up at all with a difference of 20 feet. I've had people say no, I've had people say yes, and then some people didn't quite understand the question. So like, if I have proper lightning protection, you know, the tower is grounded, feed line is grounded with surge protectors, all that stuff done correctly the way you're supposed to do it, is it even worth it anymore to actually go out there and stand on the ladder and lower the tower down and deal with the tangled cables and everything? Does your chances of getting struck actually change with height?
If you hear a weather forecast and you want to do that, you better do it a few hours ahead of time.
Yeah, that's and the thing is, the other thing you got to ask yourself is, I mean, do you disconnect all your radios?
Yes.
You disconnect all your radios. So,
yeah, I do.
And do you disconnect the, antenna inputs to the house, at the house, or inside somewhere?
Well, currently I don't have a disconnect at the house, so I just disconnect it, and it runs along the concrete floor.
Yeah. Okay.
So the question is, the question is, I'm already doing the standard procedure for lightning. The question is that I'm trying to get answer to is, does 20 feet make that much of a difference in terms of likelihood of getting struck when your tower is 30 foot tall at its lowest?
To a lightning bolt, 30 feet doesn't make any difference at all.
That's what I would think.
But the thing is, it's like when you're sat on the toilet, you know, would you feel a little more confident with it down 20 feet or with it further up? It's how you feel about it. It's not what other people say.
Right.
You know?
At this point, I don't really feel any safer with it down. I mean, I have a slightly more peace of mind. I'm like, all right, it's down. But then I realize, well, it's technically down, but that was up before. So
yeah, that lightning has probably just traveled, 3, 4, 5 miles.
And
Is
speaking
20
about
feet going to make any
trapper,
difference?
don't be
that's what I
sitting on
mean.
the
Like, is
trapper
20
when it's
feet.
lightning.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Is 20 feet going to make the lightning say, oh, well, it's too low, I can't strike that? I know lightning physics are all very, very complicated. And
the other thing is lightning is electricity. It's going to take the path of least resistance.
right.
So is there anything around you, like like here, we've got quite a lot of those huge radio towers and, cell phone towers and stuff. So if you're lower than all those and they're all relatively close to you, and I'm surrounded by water, and the amount of times it's hit the lake here, I'll tell you, see lightning strike a lake is stunning. It actually runs along the surface of the lake and makes the water boil.
Wow.
I mean, I wish I could take a picture of it. I would love to put like a camera system up like Ian's got, because we haven't got anybody who would catch fire to any house. But, lightning would be impressive to see. I've actually seen it twice.
Yeah,
and it makes the water boil. There are videos on YouTube that people have taken when it's hitting the stream or something like that. So it's going to hit the point of least resistance. If you are the highest point around, then
I am the highest point in a radius of about 1,000 feet.
Whoa. Okay.
So when that thing is up, it sticks up above all the houses in the neighborhood. There's trees. That may not be accurate. We actually have some trees that are probably about the same height, but there's like a big open field next to us, and then we have a church that's about 1,000 feet away that I believe I've seen it get struck once before.
Hopefully they are equipped with lightning rods.
Yeah.
So if I'm the highest thing in a radius of 1,000 feet, is that because everything else, it's like the land, we're kind of in a very slight valley. It's not a super big valley, but when you drive away from the house, you kind of realize that, it's actually not that high. But yeah, I'd say at about 1,000 feet radius, the closest thing that's of a comparable height is either the trees, which are about 300 feet away, or the church, which is 1,000 feet away.
And how far above sea level are you?
I don't know that actually.
I'm sure
I would imagine that's something I need to actually figure out here. I think I can use a compass here.
You should be able to tell that from your phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to check.
If you've got an iPhone,
730 feet is what it says.
Okay, so and there is nothing around you that you've got hills or mountains that are higher.
Well, not super close to us, but let me break out
around Huntsville.
Let me take another measurement here, and I can tell you. So we have a mountain that's 2.5 miles away and has a lot of towers on it.
That probably so.
Yeah. That's difficult. I mean, I always play on the side of caution, but
right.
That's because I'm older,
I mean, if
I don't know
if I
whether
know
20 feet would make a difference, but
that's what I'm not sure. I mean, when it's down, the tip of the antenna is still taller than all the houses.
Yeah, and there's no way you can.
Back, guys, I got to step out for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
There's no way that you can, put one of those floating mechanisms or something on it.
It's a push-up pole, so I can't. The way it's mounted too, it has a really solid mount. That antenna as well. It says it has built-in lightning protection in the manual. So apparently that energy, and there's actually a video of that same antenna being struck by lightning, and it shows the aftermath of the lightning strike. And all the current did not go down through the coax. It left at the mounting points. So I'm not too worried about it, even if the radio was connected by accident. I mean, I would always disconnect it, but I'm not too worried about that lightning getting into the house. It would go pretty much straight to ground. Still, if it's already higher than all the houses, it's higher than the houses by about maybe 2 or 3 feet whenever it's down, and it's higher than the houses by 20 feet when it's up. So I'm just trying to decide whether or not, because it's actually kind of a lot of work. I have a lot of equipment on there. I have a lot of guy wires and the inverted V, It's just a big mess when you try and lower it. And I'm wondering, should I just leave it up? I think I may just start leaving it up, especially once I get my proper polyphasers in and everything. And I need to go tomorrow. Tomorrow, my project is going to be going to Lowe's and trying to find a ground rod and then grounding the base of the push-up pole. Because right now it's just kind of sitting in the dirt, but I need a proper rod in there.
Yeah, you'll find them. They're not expensive. They're where the electrical stuff is. They're actually normally where the gray electrical conduit is.
Right.
And you'll see a bunch of them there. You can get up to 25 feet long, but an 8-foot one is fine. And then really hammer it all the way into the ground. There's all sorts of things. If you look on YouTube, there's all sorts of guides to do it. You can put electric drill on the top of it and spin it a little bit. What I do is pour water down the side of it, when I'm hammering it in.
Of course, as much rain as we've had around here lately, it's probably wet enough.
Yeah, you're probably wet enough. You can probably get it in, but make the effort. The first couple of feet are easy, and then the next couple of feet are tough, and then after that, it's really tough.
My initial tower, the one with the beam on it, same push-up pole. I put an 8-foot galvanized rod in the ground using nothing but I believe I was using a normal hammer.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It might have been like a slightly larger than normal hammer,
but a while, but I put them in with hammers too.
Yeah, I put them in with a sledgehammer, but a small one. Like a 5-pound hammer.
Yeah. So which is the other question I have is which is preferred, copper or galvanized?
I like copper better.
Yeah, you can get copper covered steel rods. That's the grounding rods that the utility company use. That's the ones that Lowe's will sell in the electrical department.
Lowe's and Home Depot have that.
Yeah, Home Depot. They're copper covered, steel rod. Because if you put a piece of copper in like that,
it's like this here. Maybe it says Galvan terminal copper rods.
Yeah.
That looks a bit smart. The ones I use are a bit rough.
Well, that's a picture. It's probably
go scroll down a little bit. On the right-hand side, scroll down, or up, whatever. Go up, go back to where the rod was. Go one more up. That, on the right-hand side there, the Eaton item, that's what I use for grounding my shack.
Yeah.
In the shack. That's screwed through this hole here. It's screwed onto the plywood that I rest my regs on. And then out of those go just this piece of copper wire that I showed you. Regular ground goes out of that to all the equipment. Yeah. And that made a lot of difference. That made a lot of difference to noise, the RF noise. But I told you once before, when I'm serious and I get on the bands, I switch off things like, anything.
Yeah.
Like toothbrushes.
You run a line from each thing to that terminal.
Oh yeah. You don't daisy chain.
No.
Each one of those. So you can put 4 and 6. You can put 10 pieces of equipment on that. No more. If you want another one, you put another one by the side of it if you got more. But I don't know about the galvanized. Does it say it's...
I've used rebar. Rebar that you put in concrete.
Yeah, rebar's okay, but I prefer the copper covered. I think it might be copper covered rebar.
Well, these are the only two choices they have.
There's terminal copper rods. Yeah. I mean, for the $3, $5.
I'd go with
what was it? 14 to 17. I would go with the more expensive. Copper's a way better conductor than whatever. Yeah, that looks like it. Yeah, it's a good picture.
That's what you got. I got 4 of those sitting out in the garage.
Yeah.
Is that 8 foot?
Yeah.
Yep. Those should be 8 feet.
I mean, 8's the
There should be a minimum of 8 foot. Right. You can put 20. 8 foot long. 0.625 of an inch thick, 8 foot long. Yeah. And that's a grounding rod. That's the thing you need. And then that thing that I showed you that I've got will do the...
Yeah, well, I could probably find one of those in our warehouse. We have a lot of that kind of stuff already because we're an electrical company. So, okay, I'll pick one of those up tomorrow then. I might get 2, actually. One for the base of the tower, then one for the
You're an electrical company. You should have those in stock.
Yeah.
Well, we do, but we need those for actual jobs.
Oh, for customers.
Yeah.
And the other thing I do is make sure if you know where your utility ground is, you want to tie into that too.
And every 15 feet, no more than 15 feet. So if your utility ground is 30 feet away from where you're putting your rod in, put another one in between.
Yeah, and make sure they're tied together.
Yeah, 15 feet is the recommended code, I believe.
Okay.
And boy, this brings back memories of when we used to do this with the fire stations in the EOC years ago. We used to have to CAD weld everything.
Yeah.
Because when you CAD weld, it's like it's almost like.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, but that's kind of industrial. You know, we're a step down from that. And the other thing is that the fire station stuff, you're looking at a different thing. What we're looking at is to get a good ground for RF, not a good ground for safety, although safety helps. And we're also looking to reduce, as much noise as we possibly can. But that's another issue. But you will notice that if you ground everything, your signal to noise ratio of the radio will get better. But to be honest, the amount of noise and crap that you generate yourself is, as I say, if you've got chargers that are running all your handy talkies, if you've got chargers that are charging the batteries that go into your
wall warts you have, the more
wall warts, yeah.
We call at work we call them wall moles, but yeah, same thing.
That's right. Throw them all away. Get rid of them. Or only plug them in. I've got a separate little box just around the back of the shack here that all my handy talkies and all my chargers and wall warts where I use, but I don't use wall warts very much, they're all on there. And when I switch my bench off or my desk where all my equipment is, I switch on those. So I charge all my radios, handy talkies or any, my Fox Hunt transmitter and all that stuff. They get charged overnight when the radios aren't working.
Right.
Because they all generate noise. And noise is, the thing is with noise, it's not accumulative as far as amplitude is concerned. It's accumulative as far as density is concerned. And so if you've got a little tiny signal in the noise and you've only got a little bit of noise, doesn't matter what the amplitude is, you can still work them. But if you've got a lot of noise, very little amplitude of that noise, but it's very dense, nothing's going to get through it.
Yeah.
So unplug those toothbrushes, the hair, the beard trimmers, the electric shavers.
And you'd be surprised how many of those things you probably have plugged in your house.
Exactly.
I've probably got 10 of them just in the shack out here that I'm still using.
Emergency lights that you charge. You
it's
plug
great.
them in the wall, leave them there.
Whenever
my goal is to get everything I have that's direct current on my 12-volt power supply, and then I can step it down to whatever. And that way I just have one power supply running, and it'll also have batteries eventually that will be with it. So that all my 12-volt stuff will be run separate, and then I can just charge the batteries and have a power supply or whatever. But my goal is to have no wall warts eventually, because I know those are horrible. And truthfully, they're not good on electricity. If you've got 20 of those plugged in, I guarantee 5 of them you don't even need plugged in.
Yeah, and they get
every
warm.
One of those burn your electricity 24 hours a day.
Right.
It's not a lot, but if you've got 20 of them, it's $10 a month, $5 a month, $3 a month. It's still your money. Anyway,
and don't forget with your power supply, the negative on your power supply is not ground. It's negative to the positive. It's not ground.
Right,
and I mean, I think we did that one night here, didn't we, with you, Joseph?
Yes.
Yeah.
When we measured the negative, we measured from positive to negative, and it read 12 volts. We read positive to the chassis, and it read 0.
Yep.
So you want to ground that chassis as well.
Right. All right, so I want to move on because I want to get Dave's FT8 system up. So I just want to tell you guys one last thing on this. When I was a firefighter years ago, we had a firefighter that, now I want you to get this. This was great. This was in 1988. Okay, this was a long time ago. The firefighter that was on duty by himself was talking on the telephone, leaning on the base radio while he was adjusting the cable box. And the station got hit by lightning. And we think that what actually put him on his ass and knocked him unconscious was it came through the radio, the antenna. And that Midland base radio was smoked, physically smoked. I'm surprised it didn't burn.
Wow.
It was physically smoked. That was the first time I ever saw a car radio on a little pedestal, was what we got to replace it. And now that's your standard base radio now is nothing but a mobile on a little pedestal. So I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, he was actually had to go and get checked out. He was hurt pretty bad. We actually ran code to the station because we knew the guy at the station had been hurt by lightning. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Let's move on, guys. I want you guys to help out tonight. You've helped out Joseph. You've helped out me. You've helped out some of the other guys get things going. Well, tonight it's Dave, WA2PVI, and Dave was on the newbie. The newbie net the other night. It was I was on like 5 nets this week. I forgot which one. But he was on the newbie net, and he said that he's had FT8 for a while. He can see signals, but he can't get the radio to transmit. I know, this is the one that gets us all, isn't it? I was there for a while. If you guys remember, when I started, I had my microphone and my headphones all taped together, stuck in a box. And I was doing it, I called it the Ian Acousticuple. And it was great. But I was using Vox for a while. If I slammed the door, the radio would go kerchunk. So it was terrible. I don't want you to have to go through what I went through. I know it's already been a while. So Dave, why don't you tell us where you're at? And I think everybody kind of knows you here already, but tell us where you're at and where you're at. Let's get you going.
Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Great.
Okay. I was trying to get a word in edgewise, but was having some difficulty. I just wanted to show you a Palomar Engineer Ferrite coax.
Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah.
There, see that goes right on the coax.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I use those. They're a pretty neat device.
And Palomar Engineering, like I say, all ferrite beads are not equal, and the Palomar ones are a lot better, but they're a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
But
so
they have a whole lot of noise.
yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the FT8, I kind of wrote some things down here today. I worked on FT8 and FT4 for a couple of years, and made a lot of contacts with my ICOM 7300 into an Inspiron Dell computer. The WSJX program was downloaded using Windows 7. Everything was working fine for a couple of years until I upgraded to Windows 10. When trying to transmit, no signal was going out. I worked on connecting this over many hour sessions to the state of exhaustion. Anyway, I checked and rechecked the ICOM radio and the WSJT settings. I uninstalled and reinstalled the software and drivers. I researched troubleshooting on YouTube. And at this point, I asked for help. So back during the meeting that we had with the Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club newbie net, I asked if anyone could help me solve the problem. And Ian come up with it a little bit, and the net controller answered up and gave me some people's names and email addresses. Anyway, at the time, I didn't want to change the topic of you guys, the presentation, because I felt that was interfering, because I missed the past FT8 sessions you had. Jack DeWolf, who I think is on here, KA9P2C, he was listening in, and he contacted me and offered his help. We met 3 times here in the last few days. Spent many hours trying to solve this problem. Jack's knowledge of troubleshooting computer problems is far greater than mine. He determined that the problem was with the audio driver. When checking the device manager audio inputs and outputs, the ICOM 7300 high definition audio device speaker definition audio device appeared. In checking other devices, file name AQVOX.com USB WDM driver appeared. We deleted this file and tried to replace it with the Realtek audio codec driver for Windows 10. After a reboot, that same file would reappear. We couldn't get rid of it. So
because
anyway,
Windows kept reinstalling it.
so we called the ICOM tech rep and presented our problem. He did pretty much the same thing that Jack had already done. He concluded that the registry files were corrupted and had no idea how to fix them. And that's where I left it. But I can show you what happens. I have it up right now when I go to transmit.
You can share your screen if you'd like.
Yeah. Here, if I get this thing set up there.
We're going to do it the old-fashioned way.
Huh?
I said, let's do it the old-fashioned way. That works too. Okay.
There you go.
Anyway, I can tap on these.
Now, this radio connects directly to the computer, USB directly to the radio, correct?
That's correct.
The radio has its own sound card.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay, and
You do need the correct codec for that radio inside Windows.
Yeah, I was
See
going to say, one of the things, did you check I think that's a 7300. Did you check the 7300 documentation to see if it told you to load a driver before you plug that radio into Windows?
Yes, it did. It said you download the driver first with the radio disconnected.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
the
a
usual
must.
Standard operating procedure. That's what it said with mine too. I went
Yeah.
TS590, but same idea.
But where this crazy file come from, I have no clue. When it all happened when I upgraded my 7 to 10 Windows.
Okay.
Big mistake.
And
It should come from ICOM. If you go to ICOM's website, I'm not an ICOM man and I'm not a PC man, so I'm the wrong guy to be talking. But if you go to ICOM's website, I'm sure you can load down. I'm going there now and seeing.
Can I jump in with the thing? The ICOM driver is critical for cat control of the radio.
Yeah.
But the actual audio codecs are generic Windows audio codecs. If you look at them, it says there is no driver because no driver is needed.
Yeah.
So the issue is not cat control of the radio. That works fine. The issue is the audio, and actually the ICOM receive audio driver on the computer is working because he's receiving the FT8 signals just fine, but the output, the microphone equivalent one, is just getting hijacked by this AQVOX thing that we have no idea where it came from.
AQVOX.
Okay, so you've got, yeah.
Is there anything else connected to that computer besides the 7300?
no. Well, yes, there is. There is another jack that I had that goes to my ICOM 5100.
We disconnected that just to eliminate that from the confusion.
Okay.
Okay, so it's working when you go into transmit mode. I know this sounds a bit Mickey Mouse, but to the right-hand side of the general standard messages on WSJTX, if there's a thing called power, it says PWR. That is incorrect. That is not power. That is actually the volume that you drive your rig with. Whereabouts is that little arrow positioned?
Full top.
It's all the way to.
All the way to the top. Okay, drop it down to about 80%, because it never needs to go right to the top. But you have got, that means you're driving it. Okay, what happens if you click the tune button?
Let me.
Does the radio does the radio, so if you've got the, I don't know the Sonnet 7300, but most rigs are similar. So basically you want the power to be displayed on your S meter. And then what you want to do is click the tune button and see whether it will go into TX, because you said your cat was working, but see whether you've got any drive, if there's any signal value.
There is not.
There's not, but it goes into TX.
Yes, it turns it on, but it's not receiving any of the audio from the PC.
Okay, well, that's good. So
a little better clue.
But that gives us a better idea, because it means that your cat control and everything is working.
Yeah, the cat's fine. It's just the microphone codec is just getting hijacked.
Yeah, but sometimes the cat will fail when it sends audio. It will work and change frequencies and everything. So we're one step up on that. That's good. So I'm just having a look at ICOM here. Did you go through all the standard setups for the 7300, all the things you've got to do? Because I've got a feeling you've got to switch the mic from the front to the back.
The Yaesu does that. The ICOM doesn't make that distinction. And just to show the radio's good, we hooked it up to my laptop and it worked fine. So
it worked.
That narrows it down a lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you've got a laptop problem then. I mean, that's somebody. I mean, Joseph's probably the best guy to work on that. I'm not a PC man. I'm a Mac man. So
you got to remember, when I was working off of 7 Windows, it worked before.
So it's not a hardware issue. This is some kind of software problem.
Yeah, it's a software problem. I mean, you can go into devices and see. I mean, I don't know where Joseph's going to sleep. Are you going to sleep, Joseph?
No, I'm working on something here, but I'm listening.
This is your area.
Well, my first thing would be, so you upgraded from Windows 7 to 10. That can have, sometimes it can cause problems like this. So one of my suggestions would be, if all else fails, Windows 10 has a refresh OS system built in. So what it'll do is it'll pretty much reinstall the operating system without formatting your drive or causing you to lose files. So that can be like a last sort of ditch effort. But in a WSJTX, you have the USB audio codec selected as the output, right? I mean, you have it selected as the input, but you want the same device.
It's not available. It doesn't show up on the device manager.
Okay. And that's because of this other driver that keeps showing up, is what y'all think.
Yeah.
It's almost like a viral hijacking of a device.
Yeah.
Well, it could be. Did you ever mess with any like driver manager or driver updater programs?
No.
You haven't looked at any naked ladies on that machine, have you?
That would be my other guess, is if you had some kind of, because they make these programs that are like, they claim to find drivers that need updating when Windows Update does that automatically. So there's no reason for these programs to exist other than to be viruses. Without sharing your screen, I don't know if you can check your device manager. I know you said it was showing up as something other than USB audio codec, but can you tell me what it was showing up again as?
Yeah, it was. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Dave, can you share the screen?
Let's see. How do you go about doing that?
It's a button on the bottom of your Zoom screen. Mine is green, and it just says share screen, and then you'll get a choice as to what to share.
Yeah, just share the whole screen so we can see.
Well, if he's on a mobile device, then that's not going to do him any good.
Oh, okay. If he's on a mobile device, it's not on the same
So
computer.
he's gonna have to aim.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be on the same thing.
Display on that.
Is your camera that we're seeing you through hooked up to the same computer?
I don't think so. He's on a different machine, I
Yeah,
believe.
I think that's true.
Waiting for it to boot. Here we go.
It's just hard if we can't see what it looks like.
this mysterious file, if you disconnect the 7300 from it and reboot, does that file disappear?
It does.
Yeah.
It reappears with the 7300 and disappears when you disconnect it. You can set the device manager to show hidden devices and you can see it. We went in, I did one of those troubleshooting boots where you can get into the DOS level of the operating system before it loads the GUI. Yeah. And because that unprotected the registry and the device files. So we deleted everything that had to do with AQVox and it reappeared. So it's
what does it say? AQVox?
It's AQVox.com.
Can you see it on the screen there?
Yeah.
AQVox. Yeah, that's not right.
Yes, BWDM driver. What the hell is that?
See, that seems to me like the kind of thing that would happen if you had one of those driver programs. So if you right click that and you hit remove device, it'll ask you, do you want to delete all files associated with the device?
It does not present that checkbox. There's no delete file option.
Well, so first of all, that's not a file. That is a device. The name is
device be deleted.
No, if you want to uninstall
device. So click uninstall device.
But there's no checkbox to delete the files.
So if you hit uninstall, there's an option that it'll say remove all files associated with this device. There's not.
Option is not there.
So what happens when you click that?
Show them, Dave.
That's the window that comes up. It says uninstall.
Okay.
And you click this one.
I'm going to highlight him. Oh, no, never mind. He's already on.
It's gone.
So it just instantly removed.
Right. So, but when you go to reboot the machine, it comes back.
All right. We need to look that up then. What that is. So
I've done that. AQVox is actually an audio switch device, high-end, 8-bit, 8 gigabyte audio switch that you would use with high-end hi-fi.
Which he does not have.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No, and it uses mini USB DACs and,
My question is, where the hell did it come from?
Well,
that's a very good question.
I don't know. This is like commercial stuff here. I can't believe this. Something here would have been hooked up to a personal computer.
Well, and it thinks the 7300 is that. When you plug in the 7300, that's what pops up. So it's really a mystery. The ICOM tech guy said he'd never heard of anything like it, and basically said redo the operating system.
I mean, this is a very bizarre issue. So that would kind of be my answer too. Without, if I mean, y'all seem like y'all have gone through it pretty well already.
They're saying that registry is corrupted, and
Possible.
he had no idea how to correct it.
Yeah, well, then
I did.
What else have you got on that machine? I mean, how important is that machine to you as far as, do you use it for email and all the rest of life?
I use my iPad, which I'm talking to you on now, for most stuff. But I have just about everything else on the other laptop.
Okay.
But anyway, let me tell you, I was so upset with this whole thing, and when they told me the registry thing was all screwed up, I decided I went out and bought a new computer.
Oh,
that's a bit serious. I was thinking I was going serious, but I was going to suggest that you reinstall everything. But if you've gone out and bought a new computer, that's even more serious. That's going to fix it.
Thermonuclear on this issue.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, you should go and work for Biden. We need decisions like that all the time.
My computer is kind of slow, and that's one of my.
Well, if it was running on 7, then it's obviously an old machine. So you're probably due for a new one anyway. So, the
new one has a solid state drive, which will make a huge difference.
Makes a huge difference. Yeah, and it's probably got much more RAM as well. So, and it's got a faster screen.
Once you go solid state, you never go back.
Yep.
Not only that Dell would probably make a nice Linux box.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to get into all that,
Oh man.
Yeah,
well,
I think
that
so.
would be my only.
So
that
the
would
best
be-
thing to do,
Sorry,
I
go
guess
ahead.
you've not done anything with the new computer yet.
Pardon?
You've not done anything with your new computer yet.
It hasn't come in the mail yet.
Okay.
Ah,
So the thing to do is when the new computer arrives, just put, SJTX on it and nothing else, and then progress from there, and
what
it'll
I would
work.
do is load whatever drivers ICOM says to load for that
Yeah.
7300 first before you do anything else.
Like, before you plug it in, for sure.
Then you can plug the 7300 into it, but don't do it before you load those drivers, because
Right.
you'll get something else, and that something else will be wrong, and you'll play hell getting it out of there.
Yeah.
Warned about that many times.
It seems to be a
I was just trying to
pitfall.
figure out what could I have possibly done to deserve this.
That's the question we
it's
always
not
ask.
you. It's Microsoft Windows.
Yeah, I was going to say it's.
Get out your
There's
Bill
a-
Gates voodoo doll.
There's a reason why the guy who started the company sold all the stock and doesn't own a penny of it anymore. There's a reason, because he's smart.
Blame him for it.
Yeah.
We
Bill
still
Gates
stick
hits victims.
into this voodoo
We're
doll.
all victims of Bill Gates, I can tell you that. Windows 10 is a lot better than some of its predecessors. I don't
7
think-
is where it kind of maxed out, I think.
I rather like 7.
I
of course,
see. I didn't like 7. I was an XP man.
XP was pretty good.
I think I still have one computer in this shack here running XP. I don't let it go very many places though on the internet.
Does anybody have Windows 11 yet?
No.
You're not allowed to use that word on here.
Yeah. I'll be
Oh, wait,
honest with
for
you.
Windows-
That's like using the S word. You know that white stuff they get up north. Down here we
Yeah.
don't use those words.
Yeah.
I think we ought to just wait for Windows 13.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now, I want you
96.
guys to think about something, okay? Windows gets it right every other time. Okay, Windows 1 was kind of cool. It was new. Windows 2 sucked. Windows 3 was awesome. Okay, I can work my way out of it. Windows 95 sucked. Windows 98 was not so bad. Windows
98.
ME sucked. Windows XP, not so bad. Windows 7. It gets a little weird there because 7's about in the middle and 8 was really bad.
Well, Vista was the predecessor to 7, and it was bad.
Yes, Vista was really, yeah, that's right. So Vista would have been the bad one.
Windows
7 was the
2000.
good one. 8 was the bad one. 10 was the good one. We skipped 9. It didn't break the pattern. And now we've got Windows 11, which is going to be a sucker. It's going to be really bad. Just think Windows 8. Yeah. But that's my prediction is it's not going to be as good as Windows 10. And I plan to update nothing for 2 years.
Tell them what you heard, Jack, about Windows 11.
Oh, it's a downgrade.
Oh, no. Oh, it's
It
a
really
typical,
is.
it's a
They
typical
deleted
Windows
features.
downgrade.
They deleted features from 10 to 11.
Hey, I'll tell you what I'd seriously do, Dave, is that if you go back through our system here, and I'm sure Joseph will tell you exactly where it was, follow Joseph's program and install Linux on there, and then put WD
That's a
put
good
an
idea.
FT8 on Linux and Linux on that little computer. That computer will, you said it was running a little slow, it will run 10 times as fast as it was slow on Linux. And if you're not using it for anything else, if you follow the system that Joseph put in place, what's it called? POP, I think.
Yeah.
Pop OS, yeah.
POP OS, which looks very, very similar to, the OS interfaces that we're used to. And you will get that laptop working and doing something that you can't now. And it will work reasonably well.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'd be nice if I could still use it for things,
yeah, well,
Yeah.
there you go. I wouldn't hesitate to put Linux on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's the way I would go.
Yeah, especially since you got a new machine there that's coming soon. You could wait till you have that. Well, you should probably wait until you have that in your hands.
Do you
But
know if the new machine has 10 or 11 on it?
It's got 10 on it.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
good.
That's good. Yeah, we're all holding our breaths there for a second.
They tried to sell me 11, but I found one that had 10 on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
good thing. Well, that's
Yeah,
what I would do if I were you. I would take that laptop and yeah, like Dave was saying, yeah, it's going to be a lot faster on the Linux, and WSJTX, Grid Tracker, pretty much all the ham applications still work on Linux just fine. And if you need help setting it up, hit me up because I've done all that. My computer right now runs Linux, the same thing that you'd be installing.
I'm running Linux on this one. Yeah,
Well,
this is Linux.
Jack's an expert Linux person. He's
Yeah,
got a lot-
good.
So what do you reckon, Jack?
Well, I'm gonna share a screen here. This is my Raspberry Pi.
Oh, sweet.
So this is all running in a VNC window on Windows, but this is
Oh,
all.
Look who you've got there on 1716 20 012630. That's the time. You've got me.
Yeah, I noticed that.
How about that?
I'm there a couple of times. How about that then?
Small world.
But yeah, so this is just running on a Pi. So I have all my, and I have Mint or Windows. I can dual boot into Linux or Windows, depending on what I need to do here. So anyway, this works out quite well just off a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, I've got Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. That's what I'm running here. That's what I'm coming to you through on. But I've got another machine which has got Mint, and I like it too. And Pop OS is good.
What I'm sharing right now is actually this is one of our old machine. This was an old crap machine somebody donated to me to use for a project, and on the air we converted this to a Linux machine from a Windows machine. Didn't cost a thing, took about an hour at the most, and here we go. It's running FT8 right now. Now I don't know if it's I don't know what channel it's on or anything. It's not on the right channels or anything, but it's actually running FT8 right now. Let's see, 074. I bet you we can pick up something. Upper sideband 14074.
I
When you
think
got FT8 front, has anybody tried JTDX as opposed to WSJTX, and what are your thoughts?
No, I haven't.
I haven't tried it.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
I'm just
I'm
curious.
pretty happy.
Both seem like comparable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got absolutely no problems with WSJTX. So personally, I've never tried or never even thought of trying anything else. So, and I've got more things to play around. I tend to play around with antennas and stuff like that rather than playing around with software. So I think it's get rid of default. Who's that?
Yeah, I don't know what I got. I had this working, but now I go on vacation and come back and turn it back on, and now it's not working.
Well, is it even on a radio?
I've got I've got it hooked up to that receiver that I have.
Oh, the R5000.
But it's on the onboard audio card.
Oh, leave it on default, and then did we install Pulse Audio volume control on that? I'm not sure. TeamViewer's on there. What's the name of that? That would be experimental what?
It's the one that says Linux. I just thought about something. I know the sound is not hooked into it. I don't think. No, it's not. Hold on.
What's the number on the TeamViewer there?
Hold on.
You looking for the version?
Is it? It's probably computer 3.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I got it. I got it.
3 is Windows.
I got it. Here, I'm gonna. Do
Show
we
us your
have?
window.
No. Yes, we do.
That's not the Linux machine, though. That's the.
I'm in the right one, right? If I move the little thing around here, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
No, you're in my FT8 machine. I'm in the. Oh no, yeah, you're in the right one.
So, capture from
Yeah, it's hooked up now.
audio adapter Unitech. That's the little USB thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You can plug it into the onboard too, but I don't think the onboard was working. That's why I plugged that little the little one in.
yeah, that's not getting any sound at all. I think you got a problem with your USB sound card there. Not seeing any audio whatsoever. That's weird.
Here, I'll plug this in to the onboard. See if you see anything there.
Oh, what is this? Built-in analog stereo rear. Let's try that. It's a
There
bit
we go.
hot, but that's it right there.
Now we just gotta set WSJTX.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. And by the way, this is hooked up to a Kenwood receiver that is hooked up to my 2-meter Ringo. And this is running on Linux.
On Linux.
And it's running on a computer that's probably 10 years old, 12 years old. Old computer that would hardly even run with Windows. We put Linux in it, it breathed new life. I wouldn't buy a brand new Windows machine and put Linux in it. I just wouldn't do it. But if I got an 8 or 10-year-old Windows machine, I'm replacing my Windows machine like you are. Oh, wow, this is what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
I buy a brand new Windows machine. That's one of the first things I do is put Linux on it too.
That's what I did.
Dual boot, yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Use the Windows utility to shrink the Windows partition, and then you've got some room to put Linux.
Now, I don't think I have Grid Tracker on here. Let's see.
No, it's there.
Oh, yeah, it's there. Let's try it. It's a little hard because this is a small-ass screen.
I just updated mine today.
Oh, your Grid Tracker?
Yeah, the new grid.
It's
Yeah, I
open.
like-
Just give it a second. It's kind of slow. There it
Oh,
is.
Yeah, grid tracker. Yeah.
So, I mean, even this computer that under Windows, this computer never would have run WSJTX and Grid Tracker. But because we switched it to Linux, we breathed some new life into it. It is still pretty slow, but it works. I don't know, I've got some old version of my logbook in here.
Grid Tracker just changed the way they handle the whatever that function is, call roster. So you have to do an upgrade if you use the call roster, or it will stop working.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they changed it to a Google thing from what it used to be. So they did an update, 2 updates this week. The last 3 digits of the first update were 502, and then they found some bugs in it, so they released 503 right away. It's quite a bit newer than the version you have here.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I'll look.
Yeah, just check it out. They have new releases.
This one here, this is old because, you know, this was back when we did this, 6 months ago. But I find Linux, if I used Linux every day, within a few weeks, I'd be very comfortable with it. But I don't use it every day, so I find myself hunting and pecking and looking for controls and stuff. I want you guys to understand, look at this. I'm hooked, this is just a Kenwood receiver on 14, which would be 20 meters. And look at this, I'm getting Romania. I just had Italy, Bosnia, Herzegovina.
Oh.
And I've got it literally receiving off of my 2-meter Ringo Ranger out there. So I wouldn't transmit over this. It's on a receiver only, but I leave this on a lot of times, especially overnight, and I leave it on the PSK reporter, so it's reporting data. I'll leave this back on now that it's working.
Which version was that again, Jack? Was that 122053?
Yeah, the last 3 digits are 503. That's the most recent one.
Yeah, I just loaded that today.
Yep. And then also in the background here, I have my browser window, which I have open to PSK Reporter, and I'm seeing what's going on. Looks like 20 is the king band right now. Yep, 20, then 15, then 40, and then 6. 6 is number 4 band right now. Not bad. It's mostly North America though, but it's not bad. I wish my 6, I was pulling the wire for my 6 and the damn end came off in my hand. So I've got a bare wire for 6. I've got the thing up there. I got the 5-element Yagi, but I don't have it hooked up. Okay, so anyway, any other questions on that? I'll go ahead and get this back off the screen here. Yep, there we go. And that is, just so you guys, for those of you who don't know, we've got 7 computers here total that are on a list that all have TeamViewer and Chrome remote desktop. And when I work together with people on projects like Joseph, actually can pull up a list of all the computers here in the shack and dial into them and get them going for me because he's so much smarter than I am. And that's not a joke. I really
Whatever.
Sometimes I'm totally lost. I'm like, look, anytime you're totally stuck with computers, you need someone half your age.
Or more.
Anyway, and I'm actually, he's probably more than half, less than half my age. I don't know. But anyway, all right. So as anything else on that? Any other helpful things, Dave? I'm sorry that there wasn't anything we could come up with directly, but I'm glad to hear. I would like to see when you get your new laptop. I know we're going to set it up on your new one, but let me tell you something. I like having my WSJTX running on a separate system. I don't like it running on the one that I'm editing and doing client work and answering emails and doing this show and all that kind of stuff. I got a very busy computer right here. It's got 4 big screens and it's always busy, but I don't want WSJTX to constantly be running in the background at the same time. I keep my WSJTX up 24 hours a day receiving, and then whenever I'm in the shack or if I'm in my room or at work or wherever, I dial in with Chrome Remote Desktop, and I can do FT8 from anywhere in the world. It's really cool. I love it. But the main thing you got to remember with it is I think it works best if you set up an old computer to do your WSJTX on and keep it separate from all your other stuff.
Yeah, that's why I'd like to get this old computer working. So, but it looks like I'm going to have to dump everything to be able to do it.
Yes, when you switch to Linux, you will lose everything on the hard drive. So yeah, you definitely, when you get your new computer, get you a thumb drive or however you want to do it, and just back up everything off of there that you want. And so you'll have that on your new computer. Back up your documents, your photos, all that good stuff, and any program files or downloads or anything. And then just knock it out. And then when you get done, you'll have another machine there that will actually work. And I bet you that will work under Linux, even though it didn't work under Windows. In that.
You know what I would do if I were in his shoes? I
What's
bet that thing's got a spinning regular old hard drive in it. I'd take that out and go ahead and put in a new one of the SATA solid state drives and load Linux on that. You won't believe how much faster it'll run anyway.
That would probably make it into a great machine, actually. Because the hard drive is usually, these old hard drives that have been banging for years, they're slow.
Yeah.
And they're the slowest thing in your old system.
Yeah, they're slow.
And SSDs now, I mean, if you don't need that much space, if you're just doing ham radio stuff, and you can get a 250 gigabyte SATA drive on Amazon, or even a couple other places if you don't want to use Amazon.
I've got them. You can get them there.
They are so cheap.
Yeah, they're unbelievable.
What are we talking? $50?
20 bucks.
Yeah.
30 bucks.
No.
Hold on. Look.
This is through who?
Well,
Amazon. Here's a 250 gigabyte drive here. This is Crucial. They make really good stuff. That's $40.
Good stuff.
There's a
Now,
couple other brands, PNY, Lexar.
You have to have the
Samsung's
SCPA connection,
good.
right?
There's a WD.
What are you
Blue.
saying?
I'm trying to figure out how many of my computers I could upgrade, because if I can upgrade a computer for $30, that's all of a sudden
Well,
in my poor ass price range.
you can probably upgrade all of them because these drives are, I mean, so there's two different styles of drives. You have this, which is called SATA. It says right here, SATA 3.
Right.
If you go down here, these are called NVMe. These are for more modern systems. You put this right on the motherboard and it's the same kind of thing. It's just in a different form. But if you get one of these styles here for $30 or $40,
A lot faster.
this is what you can transplant this drive into pretty much any computer because it uses the same plug, same port.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's SATA. So this right here would work on pretty much all those computers you have in there. Even this one here, this $28 one, just throw that in there. It's really cheap. They have different sizes here. You can get up to 2 terabyte if you want that. Is this yeah, so the cable, the port right there is the same as what the hard drive you currently have is probably going to have. I mean, I would take apart the computer first and check it. But yeah, this drive for $30, this will go in in all those computers.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, my FT8 computer, this computer over here has 2 really big hard drives in it. It was built like a commercial computer, but it's about 6 or 7 years old now. So, but this thing has got 4 screens hooked up to it. It runs 2 or 3 processes at one time, and it's never let me down. It's really fast. So and the slowest thing is the hard drives. If I put 2 new hard drives in there, and it's got memory out the ass, so all I need is 2, if I put 1 new hard drive in there, that thing would suddenly be very fast, I think. And that's what I'm gonna do. All right, let's keep moving here. Is there anything else? Who else has something they would like to bring up or discuss?
Well, I had a couple things. Currently I'm working on this here. It is so my car is an older car. It doesn't have a backup camera. So we got this thing that it's a license plate frame. So you put this around your license plate. It goes through the same mounting holes and everything. And it actually had a little camera in it, and it was a wireless camera, and there's solar panels right here. So it was like you put this on your license plate and you put the receiver in the car, and then you have a backup camera. Well, I got my amateur radio license plate a few days ago. It finally came in the mail. It says KM40BZ. It's got little ARRL, not ARRL, but the ham radio symbol with the coil and the antenna and everything. It's got that on there. And I got that. And so, what?
I was gonna say they don't own that.
Yeah, the ARRL is not part of that. So
Anyway.
I got the plate, and I realized that my backup camera was kind of covering up a lot of the plate. And I mean, you can still read it and everything. It's not a problem, but I wanted to kind of make my plate a little bit more visible and not be covered up by the thing. So I had to get rid of the frame, because the frame is kind of thick and covers everything up. So what I did, let me share my screen here. Here's the plate. That's what it looks like there. It has some Morse code in it. It says QST. The voice pattern is somebody saying QST. The Morse code here, I believe the top one is the call sign. The original call sign Alabama was given. And the bottom one, I can't, it says on here, doesn't it? I believe the Morse code says, doesn't it tell? I thought this said what the Morse code says, but it says like QST, and it says something else here, like the call sign for Alabama or whatever. So that's the plate. And so I'm like, I want to kind of show that off. So I need to get rid of this bulky frame. So what I actually did was I took apart the electronics in the plate, and I have 3D printed this what I'm working on today. I have 3D printed. So here's the front. It says KM40VZ on it, and it's got a hole where the camera goes through. And then this was the little camera module inside of the plate. So I took that out. I 3D printed some little screw mounts and some little standoffs there, as you can see. So it's mounted on here, and then I made this little box, which contains the circuit board, which does the transmitting and everything. So I got that there. Now I'm just trying to figure out the power, because the frame has the batteries in it. They're a bunch of lithium ion cells. But the way it connects to the board is not just simple DC. So what we have in here is we have solar panels and we have a charging circuit. I don't know if I could show. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to show. This wire here is what plugs into the board, but it has a red and a black wire, then it has a couple other wires. And I got to figure out what those other wires are. I don't believe it's just a simple 2-cell setup, because there's a lot more wires there than just the standard 2 cells. So I got to figure out what those do. I may just try wiring it up with just the black and red. I measured the voltage output from between the black and red, and it was like 1.6 volts, which is about right for one cell of this kind of battery. And if I measure from red to blue, it also showed 1.6. So I'm gonna reverse engineer this a little bit more and figure out how I'm gonna power it. I'd really like to power it off the car and not off of these panels anymore, because I can wire it into the vehicle and not have to worry about.
Okay, Joseph.
Yeah.
When you put the car in reverse, the reverse lights come on. They're right nearby.
Yeah.
That seems to me to be the easiest thing. You just come off that hot lead on those reverse lights. When you put it in reverse, it engages the system. It sends the signal. Or do you want to keep it on all the time?
So the way this works is the license plate, the plate frame has batteries in it, and it has a circuit, and it has a radio, and it wirelessly connects to the screen. And the screen is mounted in the front of the car next to the mirror. The problem is that screen is what controls whether the backup camera's on or not. It has a little infrared sensor, so what you're supposed to do is wave your hand past it, and it'll come on, and it'll stay on for 90 seconds, and then it will turn off. And so that screen is what's responsible for radioing the back module and telling it to start transmitting video. So what I'd actually have to do is wire the front module into the reverse lights. I currently have it wired into the ignition, so whenever you start the vehicle, the backup camera turns on, which is usually fine, because that's usually when you back up, is right after you start. But occasionally when I need to back up at a different time, I'll just wave my hand next to it. I may in the future run a wire, figure out what relay controls the reverse lights, and then run a wire from that and power the screen that way. But for now, I'm going to stick with the setup it already had, and I'm going to redo this. And I'm just going to eliminate the batteries that were in here and try and power it off the 12-volt system with a voltage regulator of some kind. And then this will be just stuck on the back of the car. So it'll be higher up off the ground too, which gives it a better view. But I'm going to stick that to the back, and then I'll have a upgraded backup camera system, which will be pretty good. The other thing is that for my birthday's coming up soon. I'll be 19. And for my birthday, I am going to be redoing the whole mobile setup on the Suburban. Right now, I just have 2 mag mounts. I have a mag mount Comet dual band for VHF, UHF, and I have a mag mount CB antenna. But I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to put in a proper NMO mount for the Comet dual band. I'm going to probably buy another CB antenna that can be mounted more permanently. And then I'm going to buy and y'all are probably going to laugh at me for this, but I'm going to buy a Hustler CG144 2-meter only antenna. Here's the thing though, that antenna is 7 feet long. So it's going to be 7 feet on top of the Suburban. I know, yeah. So that's going to be a project, because that has to have you can't use an NMO mount for that. No way you can use an NMO mount for that. So I'm going to buy this ball mount thing, which has got 2 sandwiching plates. So you drill a hole and you drill some screw holes, and you got sandwiching plates, and there's a seal that goes around there. Like, it's a pretty serious mount. So that's going to be in the center of the roof, because the thing is, Simplex around here is super popular. Most people, there's more activity on Simplex, on 520 Simplex, than there is on the repeaters. And our repeaters are like on mountains. Like, these things are powerful machines that are like really good. But everybody loves Simplex for some reason. I kind of like it too. So I got to max out my Simplex setup here with a giant antenna. And I've checked, I've done some checking around to make sure it's not going to hit power lines or what have you. But yeah, that's the plan, is to put a giant 2-meter antenna on there. And then if I could find one, I think the power limit on that antenna is 200 watts. So I'm going to try and find a 200 watt VHF amplifier to put in there as well. And I'll probably run a separate radio. So I'm gonna have 3 total antennas. I'm gonna have CB, dual band, and the 2 meter. So I'm gonna have a separate radio. I have 2 extra radios here. I have a Kenwood 7850 here, which is this one, which is a pretty cool radio. That's kind of cool. And then I have this one here, which is a Kenwood TR 7400A. I haven't decided which one I want to put in the truck, but I'm going to put one of these in the truck for 520 simplex only. And then I have one of these already in the truck as well for the dual bander. So I got to pick which one. I may try and find one online and buy another one because I kind of like having both of these here, but I don't really use either one very much. So I'll probably stick the Kenwood 7850 in there. It's a little bit newer than the 7400A. I'm not sure really on how sensitive they are.
That got a tone board in it, or did you have to add one?
Well, I won't. So
you'll be using simplex.
The 7400A, I built a tone system in there, but I will be on simplex, so I don't really need tone.
No.
So yeah, we're gonna see where that goes. But
power plant to run that 200-watt amplifier.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll need another battery, and you'll need some thick wires.
Definitely thick wires. The 200-watt amp on VHF is actually not gonna pull that much current. I don't think I'll need another battery, but I will need some thick wires and some proper. I haven't even picked out an amp. I haven't bought anything yet, but that's just something I want to do in the future. So I have an 80-watt amp right now, but that's 80. I mean, you can buy radios that already put out 80. It's not that much. So we're going to see where that goes. But yeah, I'm planning to do a pretty awesome setup there for 2 meter mobile. Because right now I have like the base station is really awesome on 2 meter with the GP9. That thing gets out so well. So I got to have something of at least comparable performance on mobile. The Hustler antenna that I'm going to put on there is like 5.2 dB gain. And then the GP9 is like 8.5. So it's like the highest possible gain you can get for a mobile antenna. Now, gain obviously isn't everything. If there's a lot of hills and stuff, the gain might cause you a problem, but it's relatively flat enough around here to get away with it, I think. So everybody's all telling me, oh, it's overkill. But I'm like, well, that's what I want is overkill.
Yeah, Huntsville's not very hilly, but there's a few mountains around here. That's
Yeah. There's a few mountains and stuff, but overall, I think it's plenty flat enough to use a high gain antenna like that.
All right. All right. What do we got next? Anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
Well, I've been talking about this. Can I share for a minute?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this for a little while, and I actually ordered it this week. It's gone up $1. It's gone up to $66 instead of $65. The sale opened at $1,800 on the 1st of May, which was Sunday, and he's got 1,000 units. It doesn't say that there.
Before you get it.
Yeah, well, that's right. They're not sure how long. He's taken 100 units at the end of the month up to Dayton. So anyway, I've ordered that, and I ordered a couple of other little things with it. I ordered the power cord, not that I haven't got enough, but I ordered a power cord for it because this thing is really, really small. It's, in millimeters, it's 1 inch high. It's 2 inches, 2.5 inches wide and 3 inches long. And it's 4 bands, and it's ST8, it's digital only. So now I'm looking for a tiny little laptop. I want one of those really small 10-inch laptops. And, this runs 5 to 10 watts, something like that. Not sure whether to run it on 9 volts. It's designed to go on 9. I'm not sure whether if I put, where are the transistors? That's the transistors. This is the heat sink. And I'm thinking if I increase the heat sink size out here, this is literally just a wire on top of the transistors. And that's that's actually the PCB. So I was thinking if I put some heat sink underneath there, some of the heat sink chemical, whatever it's called, the thing, and then put a bigger heat sink on top of that, because there is a little bit of room to put something high as well. make something to go on there. I might better run it off of 12 volts. It will run off of 12 volts, but you know, we'll give it a go and see what. But you just get the circuit board. You've got to make all these yourself. You got to fit all the components.
Oh, wow.
It's literally a kit, but for $66, and I can't show you a picture of the other side, I don't think. Let me just move this a second. Yes, I can. Now that's let's see, this is a BNC, so you can see how small it is. So the power, this is the supply volt. So at 12 volts, it runs,
8 watts.
8 watts-ish. But you can buy from the same guy, you can buy a 50-watt amplifier, but I want to run QRP. But what I was going to show you was the peak. Now, I've got pictures of the actual PCB, because this thing's got, as I've said before, a 24-bit SSB sound card that you'd pay $60 for anyway. It's got a SDR receiver. It's got the, crystal controlled oscillators. For the money, it's ridiculous. You're getting 4 items that you would pay the one price for. So, and I've ordered that, and I've also arrived today, my weather station, which is the same as Joseph's, but I got the one with the Wi-Fi built in.
Ah.
So I'm hoping in the future, it only arrived today. I've got the book here with all the gubbins in. Let me stop sharing. There we go. So this is I'll go and get it. This is the device, if I can put that somewhere where it goes sharp. This is the instruction book. Doesn't look too complicated to set up. I'll go and get it in a second. And I'm thinking I can share it with you guys, because it's Wi-Fi enabled. So if we can get a website, I think there's one called Underground Weather.
Mm-hmm.
That you can put.
Yeah.
So
Weather
I'll stick
Underground,
it. Weather Underground. So I'll stick it on there, and hopefully you guys can all look at it, and maybe even.
You mind that way.
Yeah, and we can put them all on maybe on the TechNet website or something. I don't know.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
So I've got I'll go and get it. Chat amongst yourselves.
Hello, bloody talk amongst yourselves, if you know what I mean.
Well, one thing I find kind of odd about this weather station, and I just realized this last night. So his may be different because his little receiver is a little bit different. It's got Wi-Fi and everything. But what it does actually, when it counts like rain, so it says 24 hours, right? It says a little 24-hour symbol on there, and you can change that to be like a week or whatever. It's not a looping 24 hours. It's 24 hours at 12 a.m. So when 12 a.m. hits, it resets the counter.
That's the way mine works with it, right? Yeah.
Really? Because that seemed like that's not. I don't think that's how it should be. I think it should be 24 hours, like in a constant in a feedback loop. That way you can actually see.
You want it to be always 24 hours from the time that you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would think it should be.
But that's not the way Mike Davis weather station doesn't work that way.
For operational purposes, that would be best, but for recording purposes, I can see why the other way would be better.
Actually, if you're running some type of, like I've got, you could implement that in software, I'm sure.
Yeah, if I ever get around to it, I'm gonna make a Python something or other that runs off of a RTL SDR.
Well, I can show you something just like that, what you're talking about.
Are you talking about WeWX?
Yeah, I got WeWX here.
Well, I looked at that. And I was just blown away by how complicated it seemed like it would be to get it working.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find
if
any
Joseph
documentation.
Thinks it's complicated, don't bother.
No.
Crap.
No.
He figures everything out. If he thinks it's complicated, I wouldn't waste my money.
I didn't think it was that bad. I've got mine running on a Pi 3. Let me share my screen here, and I'll show it to you.
Is that running off of RTL SDR? Or is that plugged in from the receiver?
No, this is running. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, this is running on a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, this is just local. This is a local website.
Right.
But it runs on a Raspberry Pi, and it's No, it's not running anything outside. This is just here. So you can see it's been up for, well, I've had it up 185 days now.
So how is it getting its data though?
There is it's hooked to my Davis weather station. It's hooked directly to it by USB.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, like, it says it supports RTL SDR using RTL 433, but I can't find anywhere how to actually set it up. I mean, I can get by without a guide most of the time, but I could not find any information other than it supports it.
I know what you're talking about. It picks it up directly from the weather station. Well, I've got the weather station console, and
Right.
And it picks it up through that. RTL SDR would have to hook it up directly from the 900 megahertz link that it's got.
Right. That's what I mean. I can't figure out how to interface this receiver with the software.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do that either because I didn't attempt that. This is just Davis's own weather station hooked up through their, what do they call that? It's rather expensive. It had some software through it, but it would be the only way that I would be able to get the data to the Raspberry Pi. And of course, every half hour it updates. And of course, I could probably change the code to go more frequent than that, but it's been sitting here running for, like I said, since last year sometime.
Well, that's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
Those graphs and everything.
Yeah. And you could change that. You can go month, you can go week, you can go day.
Wow.
And it's also got a mobile version. I haven't used it that much, but it's just another website down in there. But what you do is take the Raspberry Pi and load it up with the operating system. I put, it's not Apache, it's another web service. I can't think of the name of it. It's a small HTTPD. It's what it is. In fact, I think it's called Tiny HTTPD or something like that. Loaded that up in there, and that's how this works. And then it goes in and picks up the WX picks up the data from the Davis weather station.
Right.
And it's just been, now this thing can also be tied into external stuff, which I haven't done. So y'all have kind of gotten the bug in my ear to do that. This is Vantage View, and I don't think I'm 17 feet above the sea level. I think it's more like 7. But other than that, it's, let's see here, select year. Let's go back. Yeah. All kinds of data. But anyway, that's what I got going on here. I'm gonna stop share.
I want to get that set up. I'd also like to
Just download it.
Well, yeah, that system has your graphs and everything. I gotta find something or make something too that's like essentially just a program copy of the receiver, so I can have like a nice little circular display for direction and everything.
Yeah, that would be nice to have.
Like a little, then I can put it on the streams better when I do weather streams.
Yeah, I'd like for it to be more frequent than half hour. I just haven't taken the time to fool with it. The thing I can do with it is I can take the phone back in the bedroom at night and see what the weather conditions are outside.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's the device.
Yeah.
Yep. Same one I have.
This is what you point south, and you have to get it fairly level. It's got a little spirit level in it. This is the detector that detects day or night.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the water, and then you got the wind speed, and the pressure thingy is on here. And then you get a little mast to support it on. Mm-hmm. You have to have it facing south, and then you get this little box. But obviously, it's not connected up yet. And if I move it here, you can see, and you've got buttons to press min and max and stuff. But I'll figure if I can, maybe Joseph's software will enable us to do something clever with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just this, and this has got a little stand on it, so as it stands somewhere, you can screw it to the wall or whatever. But I thought the Wi-Fi one was a better bet because I can see it on my phone. I can't get it shut. There we go. Ish.
Yeah.
So, but what I don't like about it is you've got to press the button for min max. It doesn't show. It does a day, but you have to press the button to show min max, and then it goes away and just shows live. So it doesn't stay long for live. But you know, Joseph did all the research. I figured, and it was reasonable price. I got 20, and the really score on it is if you register the device, they give you another $20 gift card for Amazon, which is really cool.
I registered mine, and it said as soon as I hit register, and the website was like, "Thank you, your free gift has been sent," or so it said that, and I was like, "Well, that's weird. You don't normally."
No, what you got to do, you got to log on to Amazon.
Oh, you got to write a review
and register it on Amazon. So if you register it on Amazon, I don't know if you guys can see that. So it says basically, sign on to your Amazon account, enter your order selection, find the order, write a product review, etc., and they will give you either a thermometer, hydrogen thermometer, $20 gift card for Amazon, or a 22-inch mount.
Nice.
That's what they give you. And it was, I got it for $159 or something.
I didn't get that. I don't think that offer is valid for my the one I got, but that's pretty cool if they actually follow through and do it.
Yeah, it does,
awesome.
Of course, work off of a war wart, but it will work off batteries. But I don't know how long they'll last, and I don't know if you can set it so they got a touch. It's not a touch screen.
Well, so mine takes 2 AAAs, and when you unplug it, it turns the screen off, and you push the snooze button, the snooze/light button, to turn the screen on. But if you hold that button down, not many people know this, but if you hold that button down, it'll set the screen into staying on mode, even on battery power.
Oh, okay.
It's at it has a slightly reduced brightness when you do that, but if I need to take it in the house or something, I'll hold that button down for about 5 seconds, and it'll say on the screen, and it'll stay on.
Yeah, my
outside units, do they have batteries in them?
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind?
I think it was 2 AAs or 3 AAs.
I think it's something like that.
The Davis has a lithium battery, and it's supposed to be more sensitive to extreme temperatures.
Well, what I do with most of my electronic devices is I fit those. If I got one here, those, you can buy 5 now, I think it is. You can buy 5 3.6 volt lithium batteries. It takes 1, 2, 3. 3 AAs, I think.
You can get AA size lithium battery.
But I convert that to because on Amazon you can buy I think it's 5 or 6 850 milliamp lithium batteries with a charger and a bunch of leads and all sorts of other stuff for $20. So I've converted everything that I've got to run on those, and I'll do the same with this. As long as you can get it inside and it looks like it'll fit.
Yeah, the good news for lithium batteries is they're more tolerant of extreme temperatures.
Yeah.
So,
well, the thing is, you see, it's got a solar cell on the front.
Yeah.
That charges whatever you've got in there. So I guess even if I just put alkalines in there, it'll charge them.
Yeah, but I call those alkaleaks.
Alka leaks, yeah.
Because that's all they do. They will leak sooner or later. I hate them.
Yeah, but so that's my task in the next couple of days. I'll get that up on the far corner of my lanai, as far enough away from the house and the trees as I possibly can.
Yeah,
and we'll put it up, and we'll see whether it does fall apart at 135 miles an hour. They say they take it down. I can't remember what they say about taking it down if wind speed is expected to exceed
It's like, what is it?
125 mile an hour or something.
Maybe with that
112.
112.
Yeah, if it's 112 miles, if wind is expected to exceed 112 miles an hour, we suggest you take the unit down. I'm thinking, no, that's
I'll leave
a
that
challenge. Up. Yeah, leave it up. Yeah.
Mount it nice and good, leave it up. I put it on the roof of my truck for a few days and drove it. I think the highest wind reading I got was 90 miles an hour when I had a headwind. So we know it can at least hold up to that kind of wind. I'd leave it up, man. If there's a hurricane coming and I'm expecting, I'm definitely leaving it up. There's a hurricane.
Yeah, I want to see where it actually, whether it fails or whether it breaks.
Yeah, maybe reinforce it a little bit with like a safety line or something in case it comes off the mount and won't blow away. But I want to get some readings, man.
Put it on the SUV and drive out to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, I could put it on my Jag. I've taken that up to 156, so that's the fastest I got it. So
yeah, test it.
I'll see whether that might. No, I don't want to do that, but I don't want to destroy it. But I just want to see. It'll be interesting. So yeah, we'll get that up this week. We'll get the Wi-Fi working, and I guess that it says you can access it, from your phone, but I don't think it will access from an iPhone. I'm not sure. I got to look at that.
You may have to pull down an app to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do anything from an iPhone as long as you put money in.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, there you go. Well, I need a new one because this is my phone and it's starting to die.
Yeah.
This is an iPhone 8.
Wow.
Starting to die already?
Yeah. Well, the batteries aren't that good.
Oh.
The batteries don't last very long.
That's true.
The Apple
Well,
logo is incomplete. It doesn't have a coin slot in it.
No, but I mean, if you in iPhone terms, I mean, an iPhone 8 is really a dinosaur.
Yeah. I have a 6S here. Believe it or not.
Well, that's why these companies have all quit making the batteries to where you can replace them. Because they don't want you replacing the battery. They want you to replace the phone.
Yeah, I did take mine apart, and the battery is like a gel, and it runs everywhere. They've taken out every single inch, or every single fraction of the inside of that phone is taken up with like a liquid battery.
That's why I hate Apple. I wouldn't want to have one of their phones.
But all the others are the same. Samsung and all the rest of it are the same. So, I just like the integration. I can do something on the phone and it appears on the Mac straight away, and the same as my iPad, and the same as the, my MacBook and everything. It just is seamless. I adjust the address on the iPhone.
Yeah.
The address book and everything on all the other devices change. And if I'm working on a project, if I'm doing like the newsletter or something, I can be typing it on one item outside Publix, and I come back and there it is here on my machine. That's the one. I've been using Mac since 1982, so you just kind of get used to them. But the other thing I want, the other thing I want, and I want to buy it because I've seen there's a YouTube thing where a guy got a vertical antenna and he put camo. I'm not sure where I put it now. He put camo tape. Anyone got any experience of camo tape?
Camo tape.
Camo tape. There's a million different varieties on Amazon, and I just wonder if anyone has used any of them. Because I've got that Hustler, the HBV5. I'd like to get the 6, so I'd get rid of the capacity cap. But
camo colored paint.
Yeah, I don't know. Does that work? Has anyone used it?
What's the desired outcome of putting that on there?
To make it not look like a piece of steel, make it look like a tree or a piece of aluminum. So it just blends in with the trees.
Yeah, we're hiding it from the condo Gestapos.
Yeah. At the moment, I put it up at weekends, take it down, and I've got the setup for putting it up and taking down is really good.
About the color of Joe's shirt, Joseph's shirt there.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, is it just one color or is it broken up? I want it broken up.
I don't see any reason why that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But
Make sure
yeah,
it's not like
I mean, if you look at the camo tapes, they got some that are digital, some that are, you know, there's like 20 different sorts. But you know, I don't. They've even got camo duct tape, but that always leaves a residue and
Yeah.
dries up, and animals eat it.
It's kind of yucky.
So I just wondered if anyone ever used camo tape.
No, but it sounds like it would work.
Yeah, Gorilla make camo tape, and Gorilla's products are usually good.
Yeah.
So
Gorilla is a premium tape.
Same price as everyone else. It's actually cheaper.
I'm just kidding. I just know that I'm just totally kidding.
It's actually $9.35 against Scotch, which is $15.90. Oh no, Scotch do. You gotta be really careful about this because one is 10 yards and one is 9 yards.
Ah, the old shrinkflation.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful. Amazon are really the worst for that. You really have got to read the specs.
You would you'd think men wouldn't be fooled by shrinkage.
Yeah.
Yeah, a shrinkflation. That's a good word.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's not just there. I see it in the grocery store.
Yeah.
If you notice, the cola bottles aren't quite full anymore.
Yeah. Also, Nabisco's shorting all their boxes. 2 cookies.
Yeah, aren't they? Yeah, aren't their cereals? They're putting less in the box now, aren't they?
Yeah.
The price is staying the same. The box is staying the same.
Shrink the box.
Most of those cereals, there hadn't been real food in the box in a while.
Now, here's a question. I actually wrote to Kellogg's about this, and I got some generic answer. But why don't they put those, like the ceiling zip ties, just the thing that you pull across? I don't know what it's called. Like get on a sandwich bag.
Sandwich bags or the Ziploc bags.
Yeah, the Ziploc bags. Why don't they put cereal in Ziploc bags?
It's a good
Because you
question.
can buy vegetables, you can buy candy, you can buy all sorts of stuff in Ziploc bags. But I'd have thought the ideal product would have been cereal.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know about you, but I roll them up and then I put a couple of...
and those things are crappy to open. But cereal, I put the whole box down in a great big 2-gallon Ziploc bag to keep the bugs out.
Yeah. But I'd have thought, because the other thing is that when you're trying to open, I like, I forget what it's called, but the shredded wheat ones, it's really difficult to open that packet.
Oh, yeah. Packaging is terrible all over the place.
Yeah. And I'd have thought, the Ziploc, because those seals are, I'm sure it wouldn't even increase the cost of the production. And then you could keep your cereals fresh.
Yeah.
You'd think, but the difference between that thin, crappy bag and a Ziploc bag is like, half a penny or whatever. But that's when you look at how these companies run, that's like $1 million.
Yeah.
It would make everybody's lives 1 million times better, but it would make them, $5
but
less.
There you've got it. There you've got
That's
that
exactly
very
the
statement
whole-
that you just said would pay itself off.
Right there.
I'll make your product $1 million better. If they use that as their, our cereal is $1 million better than everyone else's because it's always fresh. That would pay for itself.
Mhm. That's just not how they think, unfortunately.
I know. Yeah.
These people
Bean-
think? I didn't know that.
The bean counter.
call it
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, the bean counters get there and they, like you say, you're making 10,000 an hour or something and it's costing you, every 10 is costing you another penny. I can see that, but I'm sure you could twist it round and use it as a sales.
No, you could easily make the bags better. No, see, you could make a cereal that was just a much better experience for everybody and people would buy it more. But the thing is, companies don't like making products that are amazing.
Really?
I mean, like right now, we could sit here, even though we're ham radio people, we could design a better cereal that was actually better for you, and we could charge a little bit more than regular cereals. Maybe we'd make, slightly less of a percentage of money than they make. But that's the thing. They're focused 100% on maximum profit. When you do that, you cut corners and you cause this sort of thing where we have a bag that can't be resealed properly.
That's the world.
But you could make it really, really good and still make bucket loads of money. Just you'd make one bucket load less of money, and that's just the end of the world. So
yeah, I guess that's Elon Musk's story,
Yeah.
He
I
makes
guess.
buckets. Why would somebody still want to keep making buckets loads of money when you've got bucket loads? It's
that's
like a disease or something.
It becomes obsessive. It really.
That's how it all is. Yep.
And then I think there's only 5 companies that in the whole of the US that make all the foods that we eat.
Probably so.
There's not many. They're all owned by somebody. They probably all go back to Berkshire Hathaway, but
bit scary how much we eat that comes from outside the country too.
Well, I'll tell you what, I worked for Coca-Cola the last 9 years of my working life. I was an engineer designing their systems, and there is nothing grown in a Coca-Cola, any of the Coca-Cola products. They actually own over 1,700 different drinks, and there is nothing grown in any one of those drinks.
Wow.
And I'll blow you away. There is more lemon in Pledge than there is in Minute Maid lemonade.
I believe it. I absolutely
That's
do.
absolutely true. That is not a lie. There's more lemon in Pledge than there is in Minute Maid lemonade. And Minute Maid is owned by Coca-Cola. Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I just drink it for the caffeine.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I'm going to say good night, and I just want to thank everybody for their input. And I'll keep you updated on my.
Yeah, let us know what happens with the new machine.
Yeah, don't be a stranger. Come back.
I've been monitoring, but I don't want to show my ignorance.
I
we
showed
all
mine
get a chance
tonight.
to do that.
I brought a topic tonight that I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
So I run the TechNet, and I've been at ham for 2 years. So it's we're all new here.
Well, I've been a ham since 1975, and I know a lot. I know a heck of a lot about nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a ham since.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I've been a ham since 1980, and all I've learned is that I don't know anything.
There you go.
The more I learn, the less I know. I know.
I know.
When I was younger, I thought I could keep up with the technology, but it's passed me by.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm trying hard.
Just antennas alone. Just, I was talking the other day to the guy on what was the name of the company? From Moseley. We bought some antennas. We donated some antennas to our club, and they were Moseley antennas, but somebody had used them, and the traps were different. They were physically different. They've got to be physically different anyway, because they're a different frequency, but there was physical differences. So I called Moseley to ask him about it, and they put me through to one of the RF engineers. He was a young chap. He was about 35 or so. He'd been working as an RF design engineer, designing antennas for the last 10 years. And he said, 30% of all antennas is magic. And I'm thinking,
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
I thought that's what FM meant, was freaking magic.
Freaking magic, yeah.
I wasn't sure though. And I know Rick, I think Rick, you were neighbors with Marconi, weren't you?
Marconi.
Yeah, I may have been. Who knows?
Oh, well, anyway.
I got something that Rich, hang on, I'll just show you, because I'm sure Rich was around when they did this.
All right, well, It's going to be all blurry.
If we can get this to focus.
Can you temporarily turn off your background blurring there? Because we can't see anything.
No, I just got to find out how I do that.
Anytime you try to do that.
Go to video settings, and then go to virtual background, and you can.
I'll blur my background if I switch it off. Is that better?
Yes. Now we can see.
Yeah.
It.
Now we got all sorts of reflections from all the computers. But can you read that, what it says on the top?
I see
SFB Morse.
This is Samuel Morse, a copy of Samuel Morse's original patent.
Oh, wow.
You can buy them on eBay for $9. And it was patented June the 20th, 1840. And it's got all the...
Is that replica made in China?
I don't think so.
Gee, that's novel.
No, because it's distributed and by MSPCI under license from the US Patent Company.
Oh, okay.
So you can buy loads of copies of loads of patents, but this one's still that color where they, when they put it through the old-fashioned camera, it'll come out white because the image is reversed. It's negative. This is really a negative.
Right.
But you can read it. It's a positive of the negative. But yeah, patent number 1647. So,
all right.
So I don't know whether you were around then, Rick.
I wasn't then. Not quite.
No. It goes into a fish and chip shop and asks for dinosaur legs and chips.
Maybe I was around in Washington, right across the Delaware. I don't know.
Well, I used to live right there. I lived in Washington Crossing. He still crosses the river every Christmas Day.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have, if the weather's really nice, they have over 250,000 people there watching on a Christmas morning. I've got some great pictures. I'll show them next time. But, yeah.
Well, good night.
Yeah, okay, good night, Dave. Don't be a stranger. Thanks for coming.
We'll see you next time.
Let's see how everything goes.
All right, does anybody have anything else real quick? Or if you guys want me to leave it on, I'll leave it on. I'll put somebody else in charge, but
I'm done. So.
Yeah, me too.
I think we're all about done. Henry looks pretty tired too. I think we're all about done. All right, guys. It's been a good one. I've had fun.
It's been fun. That's the point.
I'm still going to pile a bunch of these beads on the 3 or 4 things I'm having problems with and see if it helps.
See if it works.
Yeah, I know it's a not the best idea, but hey, it can't hurt.
Anything worst off is it'll everything you got in there will look like something out of the New Orleans Mardi Gras.
There you go. That's what I could do. Make me a necklace with these. They could be my beads.
And then get you a job when you do the Festival of Lights and throw beads off of floats.
And get ham radio operators to show their breasts.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like we've got this figured out. So now time to end your YouTube feed.
Yeah, just don't walk very close to any commercial transmitters.
There you go. There you go, folks.
You'll end up glowing.
The nuggets of info came right at the end tonight. Okay. All right, last call. I'm going to close down the YouTube. All right, everybody on YouTube, it's been fun. We'll see you next week. This is the South.